Welcome back to another episode of Know Your Legacy. I'm your host V, and today's guest is Bounty Tank. Bounty Tank is a bounty hunter, bodybuilder, and the founder of STFT Apparel and Relentless Pursuit Nutrition. Bounty, thank you so much for taking the time to be here, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I know we've been trying to do this for a little while, but I've seen your stuff on Instagram, on YouTube, and people are loving the action. But I know there's a whole story behind that, and I want to just get into the backstory of I guess some of the things that you were doing leading up to this, because it's not a career or a thing that someone just pursues out of school or university. It's not something that we even know exists. Most people, it's quite a niche thing that you're doing, and you're one of the best at it as well. So first of all, I know I asked you just off air, for those who don't know, what's your actual name? And then what was it you were doing beforehand?
Well, my actual name is Franklin Frazier. That's my government. No one calls me that. If I hear someone say Franklin, I'm getting nervous. You asked what was I doing before bounty hunting? Well, I was in school I went to college for nursing, so I actually have a nursing degree that I don't use. So that's what I was doing, and I was playing a little. I played a little football, a little professional. I got injured, decided to get rid of that. Sorry about that. Get out of that field. It was stressful. It was too much, and I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal. At the time, there was a hiring freeze. So bounty hunting, kind of did a little research on Google, and bounty hunting was the next best thing. Instantly went and got licensed. This all took place in Virginia. This is where I went to school. I went to Hampton University. So I instantly got licensed, took the courses, and fell in love with it. And, sometimes in life, God put you in situations to find what your calling, and I was naturally great at this, and it was actually my calling. I was great at it. I was just good, and it felt natural. I wasn't pressured. So that's kind of how it all started. So in college, I was bounty hunting.
It's interesting because doing nursing, that's such a different thing altogether from what you're doing now. But what got you into nursing then? I mean, were you brought up in an environment around like doctors and nurses and people that were, I guess, caring for you to want to naturally go into that state?
My mom was a nurse, so that's where I got it from. And then at the time, it was job security. And then I'm gonna be honest, man, it's a field where it was all women. So I went to school. I was the only starting football player that was in a nursing program. I mean, it was kind of legendary. So I mean, I did it for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. But end of the day, I got my degree. It was a good experience. I'll never take it back.
What were the best lessons you took away from nursing?
Nurse, I mean, you just have to be disciplined. And if you're not 100% on your game, it could affect someone's life, So I kind of took that, with me in life. You need to, when you're dealing with people and health, you need to be 100% on your game. There's no slacking. That's just imagine yourself. I always thought about this. Imagine if I'm ever in the hospital and I'm sick, what type of care I would want. So it helped me, just like I said, just remember you could be in this situation, in this certain place. So just treat others like you would want to be treated. Cliche, one thing we always hear.
Yeah, most definitely, because then you're coming from the right frame of mind, I guess, to approach that task or that activity. But in terms of nursing, just before we move on to some of the stuff you're doing after that, did you actually practice being a nurse, or you just went straight from doing the qualification and then going straight into looking into becoming a US Marshal?
I did not practice it. I went straight into, as soon as I got out of college, I was playing football. I was still pursuing the dream of being in the NFL. So as soon as I got out, I was still pursuing that. So no, I didn't get a chance to practice nursing at all. It was just kind of like I was done with it. I had my degree. I knew my junior year in the program that I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life. But I was so far into the program, there was no switching. So I had to finish it.
Yeah, most definitely. So I think that's the case with a lot of people though these days. They have so many degrees that they don't even use. Like I did law. I'm not even doing that now. There's so many. So I think it just comes down to like what we're taught when we're younger is to be boxed into a certain field. And we don't really have the freedom of choice. It's like the pressure of trying to pick something. And then
Right.
we end up just doing that and realizing as we grow older and experiencing the world more, we think, actually, hold on, this isn't the most exciting thing I want to do. There's
Right.
other things out there, you know? So,
Right.
but in terms of bounty hunting, like what is a bounty hunter for people that don't know? And then, do you remember the first few days of being, on the job?
A bounty hunter is, it can either be a bondsman or just a bond. Different states. My state, if you're a bail bondsman, you can be a bounty hunter. In different states like Virginia, where I was, you have separate license. You can be a bail bondsman or you can be a bounty hunter. But basically, we go after fugitives that are on bond. We don't go after random people. We're not out here. We're not Batman, Superman. If we see a crime, we're not stopping it. Okay, we won't call the police. We go specifically after bail jumpers who have skipped court. That is it. And that may be because I'm a bondsman and a bounty hunter. So the people that I bail out of jail, if they don't go to court, I go get them myself or I'll lose money. So I'm not getting paid for the hunts that I do. I have to find them or I'll lose money. I do freelance sometime, and that's when you work for another bondsman, and if you capture them, you'll get paid for them. So that's what a bounty hunter is. You go after fugitive to jump bail.
Is there many of them around still?
In Ohio, there's not a lot. There's not a lot left in Ohio. It's a dying field out here. Places like California, Vegas, there's a ton of them.
What
Now,
do,
they're good. There are some good ones. There's a ton of bad ones.
yeah, I can imagine. But what does it take to be a good one?
I think that what it takes to be a good one is, I think the initial, you need to take a course as far as being tactically sound, handcuffs, stuff like that. But I think that's the easy part because anyone can learn that. The part that not anyone can learn is being street savvy, learning how to deal with people. Being in situations where you're dealing with some violent people. You're in the hood. I mean, how does I deal with? I'm in the projects. I'm in the hood. I'm in dangerous situations, and if you don't know how to handle yourself in those situations, you're going to get hurt, or someone else will get hurt. So, I feel like being street savvy and shadowing someone who's been in the game for a while and know what they're doing, or connected with the streets, they are going to be your best ally, teaching you how to survive and be good at what you do. Because just mocking what you see on TV is not going to make you successful.
Did you have a mentor as well?
I didn't. I'll be honest with you, and I'm not telling you that's the way you should go. I'm saying I learned everything. I did take a class for tactics, but as far as learning and being street savvy, is just kind of I grew up in the streets, so it wasn't kind of like something I needed to learn. I'm young, I'm urban, so I'm hip with the culture right now. So it wasn't so much learning, it was just adapting to what I am now as an authority figure. So mine was with OJT, on the job training for me. Everything I learned was on my own. And if you don't have to go that route, don't.
Yeah, I guess having a mentor just speeds up the process because it just shows you
Right.
stuff that you may not be able to see. But then doing it, your way as well, it may take longer, but then I guess you become more well-rounded, regardless of whether it's bounty hunting or anything else, because you've been in the game, you've got the wounds, you've had to put in the time to see what the full picture is before you can actually become good. So
Right.
I guess both ways it works because you're successful at what you do anyway. But do you remember the first person you caught?
The first person I caught, this was the first hunt I do. This was in Virginia. I remember his parents was like, he was a heroin addict, so he stole all of their stuff out of their house. And they were like, we're done with him. He's here. He's at a hotel. They didn't have a specific hotel. They just said a hotel. I think it was in Williamsburg. And Williamsburg is like a long chain of hotels. So it was probably about 20 hotels. I went to each hotel with a picture. It was like, hey, you seen this guy here? Hey, you seen this guy here? It took me about 5 hours. And eventually he was like, yes, he's in room whatever. I'm like, my heart's jumping out my chest. I'm like, it's really about to go down. Oh my God. I'm like, it's crazy when you're about to really make the rest is your first time. So, I was still calm. I went, knocked on the door. He didn't answer, banged on the door. The guy answered the door. I'll never forget what I seen. It was a laptop, a Snickers bar, a honeydew, a laptop that had porn playing, and he was butt naked. This was my first time arresting someone, and this is what I see. So I'm like, get on the ground, spread them. Don't spread them. I threw the handcuffs on, put the handcuffs on. So that was my first time. It was crazy. It was uncomfortable. The adrenaline rush was like no other, man. I loved it. I instantly fell in love, not with seeing him naked with these crazy objects he can put together, but the actual rush and arresting someone and knowing all those hours you put in to find this person you finally found. I fell in love with the process. So that was my first one.
Even if you've, even though you've been through so many now over the years, do you still get adrenaline rush every time?
All the time. I still get butterflies. The moment you don't get nervous or butterflies, you need to get out of this field, because you're gonna wind up getting killed. Because you should get nervous. You still should get nervous. You still should have that adrenaline. When that leaves, it's time to get out the game. So yeah, I'm always butterflies. Oh, it's about to go down. Yeah, it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine from the videos that you show. It's almost like a movie. Like you're leading up to it. You're waiting for the right moment. You can't kick the door in straight away. I know you talk about that as well. Like you need to make sure every angle is covered first before you can actually go ahead and kick that door in and go inside without them opening it themselves. But in terms of like the process for people that don't know, when you're told who needs to be caught, like how does that work? Like, so does the court reach out to you and tell you, and then it's down to you to figure out within a certain time where they are? Like, what does that look like from the moment you get told who it is?
So basically, it's two things. If you're a bail bondsman, if you're a bail bondsman, the court will notify you, say, hey, so and so, this court, you have 30, 45 days to find them. So the bail bondsman is either going to go look for the person himself or hire a bounty hunter. So the court will alert you and give you time, say, hey, you need to find this guy. You got 30, 45 days to find him, or we're taking your money. So that's how you get alerted. The court lets you know that this person skipped bond money.
Yeah, and then so from that point, when you're out looking for them, what does that process look like? Do you have an idea of where they roughly are before you go out and start searching?
Yeah, so the process the bondsman takes to bond these people out, they have to do an initial application. And there's a co-signer, which you gather all their information. You ask that co-signer for the defendant's information. So you have a base to start out with. Now, a lot of instances, co-signers lie. They give BS information, and you might have to start with nothing but a name. And then you got to do your own research. So usually, majority of the time, you have a base of what's this person's last address. You have their height, weight, if they're on social media. It depends on what's on your application, what you're asking. But there is a typical base you start with, unless it's just a complete trash application. You have to start with just a name.
Okay, yeah. And what's been the hardest part of your journey so far?
As far as bounty hunting, my hardest journey now has been getting on. I've been trying to get on some type of reality show, Netflix or something, man. That's been my hardest battle as far as that, because I don't have a specific person I work with. You see my videos, it's always random. It might be the same group of random people, but it's never a set team each time. And, that's hard for networks want to see a group, a team. And really it's just me. So, that's probably been my biggest battle as far as that. Anything else, nothing. I'm happy.
Well, what would you say has been the biggest lessons you've learned from bounty hunting? Like since you started it to today, when you look back and think, wow, it's actually taught me this, and this.
It's the biggest lesson, and I always tell people in my videos is you got to treat these people like humans, because they're not going to jail forever. We're not U.S. Marshals where we're going off after top fugitives and they're going to prison for life. We are finding people who skip bail, normal people. You can go to jail right now for a speeding ticket and have to post bail and decide I'm not going to court. You got to change this person. So they're normal people who just made mistakes. And if you treat these people, just completely like shit, they're going to remember that. If you abuse your power, they're going to remember that. You're going to see them on the streets. I see so many people I've arrested on the streets all the time, man. You know, knock on wood, I've never had no trouble. There's a mutual respect. You know, he had to do what he had to do. Now, some might not make eye contact with me like, hey, fuck that guy. You know, that it is what it is, but I've never had a situation where someone's came up like, man, what, you did this and that. I've never had that. The most, I've had an encounter with someone who was mad they're on a YouTube video, but not mad that I arrested them. So that's the one lesson I learned is you treat people with respect because you will see them again. And the badge means nothing in the streets. There's people in the streets who don't care about this badge. They will shoot at you. They will treat you just like you're just another person from the street. So the badge means nothing. Treat people with respect because you will see them again. And this lesson right here will save your life in a lot of instances, honestly. So
Yeah,
that's my biggest thing right there. That's what I preach.
it goes back to what you said towards the start about like treating people how they want to be treated. Because if you mistreat someone, whether it's in business or it's in like a a friendship or family relationship, whatever it might be, at some point that can come back on you, and it's just gonna bite you in the ass. And so it's better to just treat everyone neutrally the way you'd want to be treated, so that later on down the line it doesn't come back around, and then they're going to reciprocate that behavior. So it makes sense. But in terms of your the sort of people that you've had to face, I know it can range from the regular person to someone who's like in the army or in the military, because I know you've shared that before as well. Who's been the hardest person you've had to catch?
The hardest person I've had to catch was just a normal guy who lived in the projects. Which what do you have with drug dealers? They typically have a lot of women, a lot, and they have a lot of women who are loyal to them. So he was a big drug dealer. People respected him, people were scared of him. Yeah, a lot of women, which made it hard for me. It probably took me almost a year to find this guy. It got to the point where the judge was like, "You're going to pay us tomorrow." Like, I owed the judge money the next day, and I wanted to find him that night at a strip club. So this was just a normal guy from the streets, man, but he was well protected in the streets, and he had a lot of women. And I had to hunt the women to find this guy, which that's another thing I preach. You find the woman, hunt the woman, you'll find a man. So that was my hardest, and it was scary. I didn't think I was gonna find a guy. So he was my hardest person to find.
That's interesting that it's just a regular person, but someone who's well protected. So have you ever not found anyone?
No. I found everybody, thank God.
So anyone listening that's in Ohio should not miss bail, because Tank will find
Our
you.
recovery rate is 100 right now. Let me knock on some wood.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. That's amazing, man. So how many years have you been doing this now?
It's been about almost 10 years now.
You think you'll continue it for the foreseeable future as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue. It's like I said, I don't just do it for shits and giggles. I enjoy it. I love it. So
yeah,
I'm gonna do it as long as I can do it.
I love that. Yeah. So, in terms of like just transitioning a little bit, because I know you've got a health and fitness company. You also got the apparel company. Where did that fit into the picture? Because it seems like this is a job that can actually take up a lot of your time mentally thinking about it, and then you've got a deadline, and then physically having to run and travel to places. So where does that fit in terms of the timeline when you started it?
I've always been athletic. I've always worked out, so it really wasn't. It didn't really mess with nothing because I always train. So now when I'm training, I just bring a camera in. So it really doesn't interrupt me. Only time it gets maybe a little tough is when I'm maybe traveling to an expo or doing collabs with other people. But other than that, I'm going to be in the gym regardless. So bring the camera. So it doesn't affect anything because it's just my normal part of living. I didn't have to sacrifice anything. It's just I get up and go to the gym like normal.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense because it's already a part of you. Because you're saying you were pursuing the NFL before, so I guess for that you already had to be disciplined enough to work out and do some type of activity on a regular basis.
Right.
And then when did you start the companies?
I've had The apparel company has probably been about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. The supplement line is fairly new. It's probably been about 2 years, year and a
Okay.
half. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah. What does FTFT STFT stand for?
stands for set the fucking tone. For those who don't cuss, you can say set the freaking tone. But definitely, I believe in setting the tone, whatever you do in life, whether it's relationship, whether it's working out, whether you at work, you set the tone, you set the standards, and you go from there. So that's why I came up with set the fucking tone.
I love that. Yeah. And what's the standard you've set for yourself, just generally in life?
My standard is 110%. Um, that's why I like to put it. Anything that I'm doing, I'm going to put my all into it, and that's how I set the standards. Because what you get out of something is what you put into it. And life is short, so you got to take it while you can.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And in terms of like yeah, working out, so I know that you the routine that you've got is quite hectic. It may not be the same schedule every single day. So I think I saw a video of you talking to like Michael Sheed about this. Like you get into the gym, whether it's the morning or late at night, it's like anytime you're just there. So for those who are like have a really busy lifestyle, can you just break down like what a typical day might look like for you and where you still make the time to look after your health?
A typical day for me, for one, I work 24 hours a day. I never know. I don't have a schedule. The only thing I know I have to do is pick my daughter up from school, walk the dog, certain stuff that has to be done a day. Other than that, I don't have a schedule. When my phone rings, I have to go, whether it's doing a bond or I got to go to the office, make sure everything's right. So I go to sleep late, maybe 1, 2. I wake up early, 5 or 6. That's my typical day. I'm running around doing bonds, daddy daycare work. um, I go to the gym workout, and then I'm usually back hunting at night. So my days are jam packed, but I make time. So there's no excuses if you're busy at all. There's no excuse. I am busy and I work 24 hours around the clock. So there's no excuse. It's what you want to do, you know. So whether I get home at 1 or 2 o'clock, knowing I gotta get up at 5, it sucks. But I'll go get that 30, 40-minute workout in, well, so I know I have it in. So it's just what do you value? What's important to you? You know, my health is important. So, and I like to keep my physical stature the way it is. So, I mean, it's what you like. You know, people make excuses, you know, because it's not easy.
Most definitely, yeah. Especially if it's not, it doesn't come at a convenient time. Like for example, you finished at 1 or 2. It's like most people would want to go to bed. You know,
Right,
it's
right.
just a standard that you set for yourself. Have you heard of David Goggins?
The name sounds familiar. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure who it is.
Yeah, I can send you some of his material after, but he's like he's got the same mindset. He's a Navy SEAL, and he went to 3 hell weeks, and he put himself through rigorous training. Like he you just have to listen to the story. It's next level, but it's the same way. You know, he continues that hell week mindset every day, 365 days a year, forever, because
Right,
his philosophy is there is no end.
right.
Just
It's
life is yeah, exactly, it's life, it's for a lifetime. I'm not training for something, I'm training for life. So
right.
it doesn't matter what day it is or what event I've got on. I have to just condition my mind to be in this way all the time.
That's right. That's correct. With that
Yeah,
type of field, you have to, because you never know when something's gonna happen.
yeah, most definitely, man. I know.
You always have to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Is there been any situations where I remember you talking before somewhere in one of your videos? I think there was a military guy or an ex like U.S. Army guy, like someone who could basically fight back, and he knew his stuff. Like he knew how to bend the law or what to expect, and so he could work his way around what you might be doing. Have you ever had that sort of encounter?
Um, to be honest, I've had people want to tussle. As far as the military guy, he was just more organized. So when we got there, he had his kids trained. They were outside, literally surveilling the house, seeing where he could exit. So he had a strategy. You could tell there was some training going on, that he had prior experience because his kids were trained. But once I called him, he didn't give us no problems. I usually don't get the only time that I have trouble with people. trying to give me resistance is that they're doped up on drugs because they don't care. Other than that, they're typically, because I'm not really aggressive. I'm like, hey, turn around, put your hands behind your back. I'm real calm. So usually when you're aggressive with somebody, they usually get aggressive back. We're kind of calm. They're kind of calm. A drug addict, they don't care. They're not going nowhere. So yeah, I've had plenty of those, and they're strong.
Yeah, that's yeah, yeah. No, but in the end, you know, whatever needs to happen happens, and then
Right.
you get them to where they need to be. But so I know you've talked about, I think on Instagram and in some of your YouTube videos, like you're getting prepared for Arnold Classic. Is that this weekend?
No, I've passed. That was about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So it's beginning of March, sort of end of Feb. How did that go?
I didn't do it. I had to drop out due to some personal issues. That's
Oh,
one sport you have to be 100% mentally in. And I wasn't due to some personal problems that happened. So I stepped away. But I am going to do another show. It's coming up in May.
okay, fine. And what show is that?
It's the North Coast Championships.
Oh, cool.
It's
Okay.
the one I did last year.
Yeah.
I didn't win the entire thing. I won just my class. So I'm coming back for vengeance.
Yeah. So what's the in terms of for people that may not have watched some of your workout videos and stuff, do you have like a set routine that you do for like each body part and things like that for people who are into bodybuilding and into fitness, just to break it down for them, like for someone who's been doing it for a long time?
I don't have as far as just like a set routine. I don't switch it up every week. Um, anybody that's in this field, they know you don't want to do the same thing over and over. And your body gets used to it, and you'll stop growing. So you always want to do something different, shock the muscle, to promote growth. So I don't have a set routine. I go in, and if I'm training with my trainer, we do something. If I'm training by myself, I always switch it up in some type of capacity. So, and I like to train heavy sometimes. I'll train, now that I got in bodybuilding, I learned that it's not always about just throwing up heavy weights. So I do, I might have a heavy day. I have a crazy day where I'm doing crazy reps. I have a day where I'm doing heavy reps, low reps, and I'm having a day where I'm doing medium weight with squeezing. So there's no set routine
Yeah.
as far as training.
Yeah, it's just keeping the body guessing every single time,
Right.
and making sure that you're mixing it up for every body part, I guess. Do you ever do like full body workouts?
I do. I just did a full body workout the other day. So again, there's times where I am like, my schedule is crazy, and maybe I can't go to the gym 5 times a week. So I'll go 3 times a week, but I'll get a crazy full body workout to make up for those 3 days. So that's when I use full body workouts. If it's like just a crazy week, I'm hunting someone and I'm getting close, I don't have time to be in the gym every single day, I'll hit it 3 times or 4 instead of 7 or 6. And I'll just hit full body workouts. So,
Yeah, that
you
make
gotta adapt to what's going on, but I make
yeah.
sure I'm
Either way, you make sure you're there, like you show up when you need to show up. That makes sense. What's a typical full body workout for you?
I'll do 3 exercises per body part. That's typical full body workout. So I'll probably get in there, an hour and some change, because legs usually take a little longer. So I'll probably be hour and a half for a full body, 45 minutes to an hour full body work. I like to go fast, so, and superset stuff so I can get out of there. So I do a lot of supersets. That's one thing I do. Supersets. It's good for cardio.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because you're like, even though you've got such a big size, your job, I guess, requires you to be on your feet a lot and to be running whenever you need to run anyway. But how is it that you maintain being able to be lean while maintaining that mass as well for those who are trying to achieve that? Because I know that's quite a big thing for people who are on their way up but want to know, okay, but I'm scared to get, because I know someone who recently that I spoke to, he wants to gain weight and he's training heavy and he's training well, but he's like, I'm scared to get fat, man. I don't want to eat too much.
I mean, you have to have balance. I believe if you train at an athletic capacity, you'll have that leanness. I like to do sprints. I like to do anything athletic. I'll go play basketball. So if you're training, athletically, you're going to burn off that extra fat. You're not going to get bulky and can't move. I like to be able to move. I might have to chase somebody. So they might say, "Oh, this guy's big. He can't run," and then I'm on the ass. So And then, you know, you get in tussles with people, you got to be able to hold your own. You know, I don't want to get no tussle with someone and they slam me. No, I'm going to be the aggressor. So train athletic. That's why I would say train athletic. It's fun. Nothing is more boring than just staying on the treadmill or the Stairmaster for 34. It is boring. It is. If you go and doing something that's fun and you're burning calories, you don't even realize. You can do it for about 2 hours, not realize you didn't burn 2,000 calories. So I would tell him find something that he enjoys doing and make it into some cardio. I
Yeah.
mean, not to get X-rated, but sex is cardio. You know, he has a wife. Hey, tell him to take
True.
charge.
That's true. That's very true, man. Any activity that makes you move, basically, you know, for I guess short periods of time or extended periods of time, that's gonna amount to calories burnt at the end of the day or end of the week. So that makes sense. And in terms of your diet as well, do you fuck with like fasting and stuff like that, or?
Um, I'm gonna tell you this: when I have bad eating days, because I am human, I have a day where I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm about to eat all these Snickers bars in the store."
That's a good shout, man. Snickers.
Yeah. So, like, if I have like a bad weekend or like a weekend maybe I'll spend with family, you know, family you eat. I might that next day, depending on how bad it is, I'll fast for 24 hours, and then I'll get back into the natural groove of things. It's like a reset. So it gets out all the bloatedness. I actually love it. I'm actually focused on the days that I'm actually fasting. So it gets rid of the bloatedness. It's like a reset. You start over and you start your day over again. So I'll drink water the entire day to flush my system out. So I will do that. I do fasted cardio. I believe in fasted cardio. Sometimes I may do a fasted workout. I try not to do legs fasted. That's a whole nother ball game. But yeah, I believe in fasting.
Yeah, that's no, I'm glad you say that, because I felt similar effects of doing that in the past, and I've spoken to people who have done that, and you just feel like your body's consuming less energy because you don't have to consume all that food that, and it doesn't have to
Right,
break down and digest that food constantly. Because most
right,
people that are in that game, bodybuilding, or people that are hardcore, like 6, 7, 8
right,
meals a day, that's next level. Like
right.
your body's constantly breaking down and using fuel, and then it can take you away from focusing and from doing a lot of other things. So I mean, on a typical day, like, how much do you usually eat? Obviously it's going to vary for people listening because of your size, but just to give people an idea.
I usually between 5. If I'm on point, 6 meals. If I'm slacking, 4 to 5 meals. So
Yeah.
that's what you typically want to keep your metabolism, keep the muscle mass. I know a lot of people have been doing the intermittent fasting. Me personally, and again, this is my personal opinion, I don't feel like it's good when you're bodybuilding because you have a short window to eat depending on how long you're doing the intermittent fasting. I mean, if you have 4 hours to eat, I mean, you can only take in and digest so much protein. So your muscles is not getting the proper protein it needs to grow. I actually, and this is my personal experience, I tried it. And I just didn't have the muscle mass. I leaned out, but I had it was like more of a flabbier look, like a cross runner or something. It wasn't tight. So just for those, I personally don't think it's good to do with bodybuilding. But
Yeah, no, fair enough. It's just something that everyone has to try before they before they knock it, I guess, because everyone's body operates differently. But I mean, what's the sort of stuff that you're into at the moment? Not necessarily just for bodybuilding, but I mean just generally some of the stuff that you're focusing on now in terms of next steps for where you want to go.
right now I'm working on a TV reel, um, a sizzle, excuse me, and I'm working on trying to pitch that to different networks. So that's right now what I'm focused on. That's one of my dreams I've been wanting to do, to take it from YouTube to, and I'm not so much focused on TV because no one really watches TV no more. It's more the internet. So Netflix or something like that. So I'm just trying to take it to the next level and somehow get on that Netflix path, a bigger, wide audience. So
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I'm.
So you're thinking like a series, or?
Yeah. I think what I have to offer is good, is entertaining. I feel like I have a very underrated channel. You know, because once people watch it, they're stuck, they're hooked. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I need to be on a broader scale, you know, so people can see, and it's real. There's no sugar, there's no reenacting. There's so many bounty hunters I heard is fake. This stuff is real. When someone looks at me and say "fuck you," they mean it. It's not scripted. If they say I'm gonna kill you, there's a possibility that they're telling the truth. So it's real life stuff, and people can feel it's real. Like, man, this stuff ain't fake. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
working on now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I definitely think that is, you know, that's a possibility, because there's so many shows that are not similar, but like, you know, you've got people like police chases and stuff like that. But it's not the same way that you're doing it, which is one, your unique character of being a bodybuilder, being a, you know, having the mindset that you have, and being one of the few who's successful. But then the way that you do it as well is quite ethical. Like, you show people properly like what needs to happen every step of the way, before you actually go and kick that door down. Um,
Right.
but yeah, real quick before we get into, I guess, the last few questions, wait, have you, like, how many times, if you remember, have you had to actually kick the door down, and what's your thought process? Because that's, I guess, for people, that's the most entertaining thing when that sort of thing happens. But what's the process and the I guess the decision making between, all right, I'm going to do it now, or I need to hold off a little bit longer?
Um, there's quite a few factors that go on there. One, making sure I'm able to kick the door in legally. So I either gotta either have to be the defendant's house, the co-signer's house, um, or someone to sign the bond, or they're just in there. So there's plenty of factors to play in there. So legally, I got to make sure I can kick it in. Once I know I can kick it in legally, then I'm like, okay, who's in this house? So I'll watch the house as much as I can. I'll see, you know, listen, see who's in the house first, and then I'll make my decision. All right, I'm gonna kick this door in. So first thing is illegal. Second, who's in there? And then I go, then, you know, I'll knock a little bit and see. Then, you know, it depends on the situation. Sometimes when I go to a house, I already know what I'm doing. I'm kicking the door in. I talk to the people that said, screw you, we're not turning them in. I wish you would come kick the door in. And I'm like, your wish has been granted. I'm there. So it just depends, you know.
Yeah. How many times do you think you've had to do it so far?
Man, I might have to get surgery on this foot, as many doors I done kicked in. I think probably in my career, it's probably been a couple hundred doors.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Home Depot needs to sponsor me. I'm
That's
bringing them business left and right.
yeah, yeah,
Home Depot, Lowe's, cut the check.
yeah. No, I love it, man. No, it's been insightful, because there's a lot of people out there that still don't know, you know, what you do, and the fact that that job exists, and the mindset of what goes on behind the scenes for someone who's on the go for such an extended period of time. Because I guess they can use those principles of being disciplined, you know, doing what you need to do and ticking that box before you go to sleep every night, regardless of what career or industry that they're in. Would you say that's the one of the most important things that have helped you become successful in the field you're doing?
Discipline, definitely. Discipline. If you don't have discipline, you're not going to be successful in anything, except being lazy or, you know, just sitting around. If you don't have discipline in this job, you can get yourself killed, someone else killed. You have to have discipline in this job. And I think you have to have discipline in anything that you want to be successful in, period. I don't care what it is. Whether it's relationship, any sports, you got to be disciplined. But definitely my discipline of being consistent, and just doing things the way I know they should be done morally has kept me in this game and kept me successful, and still going to this day is my discipline. And that all stemmed from sports. I got my discipline from sports, and that's why it played a big role in my life playing sports. It traveled on to school and then bounty hunting. So definitely discipline.
I love that. Is there anything that you regret so far?
Um, I don't think so, man. Everything in life is a lesson. So nah, everything I've been through and went through is for a reason, and it shaped me to be the person I am now. If you don't learn something from something that that's happened to you, a situation, then you're not going about life right. Everything's a lesson. So no, I don't regret anything. Everything's a lesson.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I love that. And what about one of the things that you're most proud of?
I'm most proud of my daughter. She's like, she thinks I'm like the most famous person in the world, and she always tries to get me to come to her school. She's like, "Hey, Dad, the kids watch your videos. I told the boy he better leave me on. My dad coming." So I'm be honest, that made me, I don't know, just gave me butterfly. I loved it, man. I was like, man, to make her happy, to make her proud of me, um, makes me happy, man. Then I do a lot more. I've been speaking to kids, and just to know kids and adults. So to know I've changed someone's life, I've touched them in a positive way, makes me happy. It makes me want to do this even more. It's a better gratification than money, knowing you've changed someone's life in a positive way. So that's what I'm most proud of.
Definitely, man. There's no better feeling than knowing that you've impacted someone, or they've told you that they've changed their life or made a decision because of something you've said, something you've done, something that they've seen, that you've helped other people with. So, no, I thank you so much for everything that you've done so far, everything that you're doing, the inspiration that you are on YouTube, Instagram, and everything that you're putting out in the world. But just to wrap up with the last few questions, and if you had a microphone and the whole world could hear you, what would you say?
Oh man, wow, that's a hard question right there. I mean, is there a specific topic?
And anything. What message would you want them to hear? Like, what's the most important thing that you think people need to hear right now?
If it was as far as being a strong message, I would tell people, fuck what everybody else say, fuck the norm, follow your passion, no matter what no one says. That's what I would tell people.
Mm.
Because that's important. Don't live your life for someone else. Don't live your life for your parents. Because when they're dead and gone, you're going to be stuck doing something that you hate. So live for you, follow your passion. If you like baking cakes, go bake the shit out of some cakes. Be the best damn cake baking person in the world. It's your passion. When you're doing a job that you enjoy, that you love, it's not a job. I don't believe in just working to pay bills, man. It's slavery, man. It's prison. It's literally mental prison. I've been there. So I would tell people that, follow your passion, fuck the norm. If it makes you happy, do it.
That's good advice, man. Definitely, and I like what you said about the parents as well, because not many people put it that way, and it's a bit of a dark concept to say that, because they'll be like, "Oh no, it's my parents, man. How can you say that?" But it's true though. Like when they're gone, you're left with the decisions that you made,
Right.
and you have to live with that. You either regret it or you're happy with it. So it's better that you think about those things now rather than waiting until they're gone and then realizing, oh shit, I've done the wrong thing this whole time.
Right.
Did just on while we're on that topic, real quick, did you face any sort of pushback or resistance
Yeah.
from either of your parents? Because she was your mom was a nurse, and then she must have been happy to see you go in there, and then for you to do 360. Like, what the hell is he doing?
All right. To be honest with you, yes. I tell this story. I probably told it a couple of times. My mom didn't support what I did. She's going to see this, and I know she hates when I say it. She doesn't support. She's more supportive now, but she did support it. She said I was being stupid. She's like, "You're dumb. Why would you struggle?" When I first started this, I moved back to Ohio. I had no work. I pursued bondsman for months. I was broke. I was homeless. It was just me and my dog. There was a time where I was eating dog food. Like, this is no lie. I had nothing to eat. And yes, I could have went and got a job doing nursing. I refused to because this is what I wanted to do. And I stuck with it for 6 months until somebody gave me a chance and I made it work. And when I got my opportunity, there was no turning back. I had no support from my mom. She said it was stupid what I was doing. You're struggling for no reason. And I took it as motivation. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was down on me saying, you don't have any money. Them two people in my life, I'm glad they were there because they motivated me to be where I am right now. So you can't be afraid to tell your parents no and to get out of that. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be in an uncomfortable situation. You can't be afraid to get uncomfortable because it's for a bigger picture. So for those who are dealing with parents on them, stressing them, saying, don't do this, you're stupid. Hey, it's your life. It's your life. And again, like we just said, when they're dead and gone, are you going to be happy with the decision you made? So, yeah, I've dealt with it. Even people where I grew up from, they say I'm a sellout. You know, I've arrested friends. I don't care. Hey, you can be cool and still do what I do. You know, these kids, they do stuff to be cool for women. You could do all that stuff and still be successful legally, you know? So, and I'm happy. They're working jobs and they hate their jobs. I am happy what I do. I don't clock in, so I don't regret anything. And my mom now sees, man, he's happy. I'm glad he's happy. She's happy that I'm happy now. And she supports what I do. She might not like what I do. It's dangerous. But she supports it because she sees that I'm happy and I'm successful at it.
Ultimately, though, I think that's what all parents want. Like, they just want their kids to be happy, and they think, I guess, a part, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but a part of them thinks the thing that they see you doing is what's going to make you happy. Like, we want him to be happy. Maybe he needs to do law, or he needs to become a nurse, because that's what's going to make him happy, because that's what they know has made them comfortable. But we're two different people. You can't say that your life is going to be a reflection of my life, because I'm here for a completely different purpose. Like, my passions are different to yours. My journey is different to yours. It's not going to be the same thing. So,
and a quick little for those who are entrepreneurs and dealing with those people who are not supporting them. And I learned this also through trial and error. When you're an entrepreneur, there's a certain mindset you have. When you work a job and know you got a check coming, there's a certain mindset you have. Those who've all they know in life is work, job, get a paycheck. They do not understand the mindset of an entrepreneur. They will never get it. They do not understand it until they go through it. So if you're dealing with family members that just don't understand, they don't support you, understand that they don't understand and they won't understand because they're not going through it. All they know is work, get a check, is secure. They don't have that mindset of it, and they will never get it. So don't stress yourself on trying to show someone this is what I got to do. This is my lifestyle. I got to do it this way to achieve this success. They're not going to understand it at all. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's something. That's deep that you said that, because I realized that along my journey as well, that eventually you stop trying to explain to people and you just do you. Like, that you're wasting too much energy by explaining yourself to other people, because unless they do what you do, they will never know what it's like. It's impossible until they wake up and have to do the same decision making, the same level of discipline, the same activity that you do. Then they can feel the emotions of it, because ultimately that's what it is. You feel the emotions, so you know what it's like. They don't. They feel the emotion of something else, and because they don't match up, you're having two different conversations.
And that is key in a relationship when you're dealing with it in a relationship, because that can make and break a relationship.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Because you mentioned about your mom being a nurse. Was your dad there as well?
I didn't grow up with my dad. Don't know my father. I know he was into drugs as a young child, but I have not seen him since I was 6. So he has not been around. His lost.
Yeah.
But one thing I always hope, and I know this sounds petty, I always hope that I would see his name or somebody that bonded him out and he skipped court. Oh man, that'd be one hell of an episode. I'll put him in the room and interrogate him.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. But it just goes to show, even if you don't come from that typical family of happy marriage and happy parents and all of that stuff, you can still do what you need to do. And I think it's through the resistance of all of those situations that you become the character that you are now, like the things that you've learned and the person that you become. So congrats to you on everything that you've done so far, man. You're doing amazing, and wish you nothing but more success. Just to wrap up with the final question, in the end, with everything that you're pursuing now, what's the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Legacy I want to leave behind, man. I want people, when they think about me, obviously he was a great bounty hunter. He was a good advocate. He was a good leader, and I want my legacy to change the perception of young Black males all around the country. That you don't have to play sports. You don't have to be a rapper. You don't do none of this stuff. You can be whatever you want to be and still be successful. So I want when people to see me whenever I'm gone to see that and be able to pursue their dreams with no hesitation. Like, man, he did it. It's all right to be this way. I don't have to go about it this way. It's a different route. So I want to change the norm. I want to change our culture.
Yeah, I love that, man. And you're doing that already. So where's the best place for people to find you in terms of everything, all the content that you're putting out and everything that you're going to be doing as well?
YouTube, Bounty Tank, IG, Instagram, Bounty Tank, Facebook, Bounty Tank. Just type in Bounty Tank, you'll find me on all social networks.
Love that, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Hopefully we'll do another episode later on down the line, and we'll see you on TV, man.
All right, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for having me again.